An unnamed man is tragically killed in a car accident and reincarnates in another world as a magical sword. With telekinesis, he is able to fly and learn skills by killing monsters. He decides to continue slaying monsters and become the most powerful sword in the world while waiting for his destined wielder. Elsewhere, a black cat girl named Fran lives as an abused slave but dreams of greatness. One day, after acquiring numerous skills and great warrior abilities, Sword enters a forest where touching the ground drains his magic to zero. Unable to fly, he is trapped for months. The humans Fran belongs to are attacked by a bear monster. Seeing her fellow slaves being slaughtered, she is desperate to help and spots Sword nearby. Touching his handle, he is able to communicate with her via telepathy and fly again. He shares all his skills with her, turning her into a great warrior who uses him to easily kill the monster. Fran's owner demands she give him Sword and starts hurting her. Angered, Sword kills him and burns Fran's slave contract, freeing her. He officially asks Fran to be his wielder and she agrees as it is her goal to evolve, something no black cat has ever managed before. Seeing him as her teacher, Fran names him Teacher. Teacher decides to dedicate his new life to keeping Fran safe. Fran rescues an adventurer named Randall from a goblin ambush. Teacher keeps his sentience a secret and only speaks to Fran via telepathy. In a lesser town at the Adventurer Guild, Nell the receptionist, who keeps her dark side hidden, informs Fran she must pass a battle simulation and the examiner is Donadrond, a powerful Oni. Fran and Teacher combine sword skills with magic, which Nell notes should be impossible unless Fran had 2 brains. Donadrond happily admits defeat. Guild Master Klimt accepts her as a sword mage. Fran sells some of her loot for a small fortune, earning jealousy from nearby mercenaries. Believing a black cat could only be a thief and liar, they pick a fight with her, but Nell, who has decided she likes Fran, defends her. Unable to stand them insulting the black cat species, Fran severs the lead mercenary's legs while beating up the rest. They insist Fran be arrested, but Nell and the guild adventurers all agree it was self-defense and fine the lead mercenary 100,000 gold, with Nell revealing her dark side by refusing to heal his legs until he pays. Teacher decides they need a room for the night and armor for Fran. Meanwhile, a dwarf adventurer, who has the highest level appraisal skill God Sight, is fully aware Teacher is a living, intelligent sword. The dwarf, Garrus, invites Fran to his shop, explaining he is the famous wandering blacksmith of Granzel. Other adventurers are jealous as Garrus is notoriously choosy over who he sells his equipment to. After selling Fran enchanted armor, Garrus asks about Teacher. Teacher is worried he is not as strong as other swords, but Garrus reveals that what makes Teacher most powerful is his ultra-high mana conductivity. The more magic Fran puts into him, the more powerful he becomes. Garrus admits he is not skilled enough to forge a sword like Teacher, so he could only have been forged by a divine blacksmith. Teacher pays Garrus to make a scabbard for Teacher and other equipment for Fran. With time to spare, Fran and Teacher acquire more clothes, food, and a room. Elsewhere, the surviving goblins that ambushed Randall use magic to evolve into hobgoblins. On her first quest, Herb Gathering, Fran rescues 3 adventurers, Lily, Krull, and Eustace, by slaying the hobgoblins. The adventurers worry the presence of hobgoblins means a goblin king has recently evolved, and he should locate a goblin queen. Their offspring will form a hobgoblin army that could even threaten Alessa City. Fran decides to destroy their nest alone, but Teacher worries as Fran attacks recklessly, ignoring the injuries she receives. Fran kills all the goblins present, saying she must become stronger. The adventurers return with reinforcements and they find the goblins came from a dungeon. Klimt organizes a party to raid the dungeon the next day and gives Fran a promotion. Garrus repairs her armor and says dungeon masters are empowered by the goddess of chaos. Fran takes Teacher with her to the bathhouse, much to his embarrassment, but Nell reprimands her for bringing a weapon. Nell explains the goddess of chaos brings challenges to the world like dungeon masters to prevent stagnation. The god of war was evil and slain by other gods, but not before he created goblins and other monsters. Nell complains that August, the captain of the guard, refuses to send knights to assist them and wants Amanda, the guild's ace, to return from her journey. The next day, Garrus gives Teacher his completed scabbard and Fran joins the party, led by Donadrond. The goblins ambush them at the dungeon entrance and kill many. Fran kills several goblins and enters the dungeon. Inside, a goblin gloats that with the monster he just summoned, the Goblin Empire is invincible. Fran and Teacher decide to only kill and absorb crystals from goblins with useful skills and leave the rest to the others. They find the Goblin King and Queen, but kill them with one attack to their surprise. They realize the dungeon goes deeper and fight their way through a swarm of giant beetles. They enter a hidden door and find the Dungeon Master, an intelligent goblin who managed to summon a high-level greater demon. The Dungeon Master boasts he will take over the world with his servant, but the demon warns his summoner not to give him orders and attacks Fran. He is much more powerful than any enemy she and Teacher have faced before and slices off Fran's hands, but Teacher quickly heals her. Meanwhile, the rest of the party cannot get past the door to help her. Teacher asks Fran to retreat, but she refuses and continues to fight the demon. The demon acknowledges that Fran's sword skills are superior to his, and then uses his special Skill Taker ability to steal her sword skills, boasting that she is doomed. Skill Taker fails to work because Fran's sword skills are borrowed from Teacher. The dungeon master attempts to assist the demon, but he refuses his help. Teacher remembers a dungeon master's summons cannot survive without him and tells Fran to aim her attacks at him, forcing the demon to shield him. Fran hurls Teacher at the dungeon master, but when the demon tries to catch him, he unexpectedly changes direction and impales the demon instead, killing him. Teacher's blade breaks in the process, making Fran think he is dead before he reveals he can repair himself thanks to absorbing the demon's crystal. They kill the dungeon master, making the dungeon disappear. The rest of the party congratulates her, but Donadron berates her for going off on her own and not waiting for them. Teacher soothes her by promising to make her curry, and reveals he gained Skill Taker and uses his new experience levels to max Skill Taker and his sword skills. Klimt calls Fran and asks what happened to the demon's crystal, as it is a highly valuable material. Fran conceals the fact that Teacher absorbed it and says it just disappeared. Klimt believes her, but August barges into the office and obnoxiously calls her a liar. August, vice captain of Alessa's Knights, uses his skill falsehood to identify Fran's lies. Teacher appraises August and finds he abuses his skills to falsely accuse commoners and charm his superiors. August demands all the dungeon loot as a fine for Fran lying to a noble, but Klimt refuses as the loot belongs to the adventurers. Teacher uses Skill Taker to secretly steal August's skills falsehood and etiquette, leaving him socially dysfunctional. Fran is promoted to D rank and becomes popular with her guildmates. Fran discovers etiquette has made her more charming. Teacher dreams of his reincarnation, which included 3 beautiful women. Teacher makes Fran the curry he promised and other meals to keep preserved in his dimensional storage space for Fran to eat on long journeys. Fran hears a rumor August socially embarrassed himself before royalty, angering his father Count Holmes. August appears to Fran, balding and so filthy Fran mistakes him for a zombie. He accuses Fran of cursing him, ruining his life, and has hired an assassin to kill her. The assassin is revealed as a blue cat, longtime enemies of black cats like Fran. Elsewhere, a woman with pointed ears approaches Alessa. Fran reveals it was the blue cats who systematically made the black cats weaker and discriminated against over centuries. The blue cat, Jurin, gleefully describes torturing and murdering black cats. Fran is afraid until Teacher reminds her she is not alone. Fran severs Jurin's limbs and loots his sword, swearing that one day black cats will no longer fear blue cats, then severs his head. She considers killing August too, but is stopped by Klimt, who has made a deal with August's father. In exchange for a large fee to the guild, August will be placed under house arrest forever. The elven-eared woman, a rank adventurer Amanda, appears and instantly falls in love with Fran's cuteness, declaring herself Fran's new mother, which Fran rejects. Amanda begins following Fran everywhere until she complains to Nell, who reveals Amanda actually runs an orphanage, earning the title Guardian of Children despite seeming a creepy stalker. Klimt offers Fran 5 high-level monster crystals if she will join adventurers investigating a spider monster nest in an already defeated dungeon. Fran accepts and also receives permission to investigate another active dungeon near Olmut village. Teacher absorbs the crystals to level up again, but Fran is despondent when Amanda insists on joining the quest as well. Fran learns defeating the spiders is also a promotion exam for 2E rank teams, Dragon's Roar and Forest Eyes, overseen by the examiner's crews, Rig and Ezel. Prad, leader of Dragon's Roar, accuses Fran of manipulating Klimt into promoting her unfairly and challenges her to a duel to prove she earned her promotion, so she uses the flat of Teacher's blade to beat him up. Intrigued, Amanda asks to duel as well, wagering Fran must call her mama if she loses. After a short difficult fight, Fran is defeated, but not before managing to land one hit on Amanda. Amanda is unharmed due to one of her defensive skills, but is impressed Fran is the first person in years to come close to hurting her. Teacher is proud of Fran's progress. Unconscious, Fran dreams of her mother. Upon awakening, she agrees to call Amanda Mama, but Amanda stops her as it is obvious Fran's mother holds a special place in her heart, but she swears to always support Fran. Using falsehood, Teacher detects Amanda's every promise of motherly affection is sincere and she has truly earned her title Guardian of Children. A sinister man approaches the dungeon while the party enters it. Amanda reveals that she lost several comrades to this dungeon in the past, leading her to care for their orphaned children. They battle booby traps, giant insects, and trap spiders while collecting their valuable silk. Amanda gives Fran combat and magic lessons while noting how unusual it is that Fran can use 3 elements. Upon learning about it, Fran and teacher quickly master thunder magic. Fran thanks Amanda by sharing curry, which no one has heard of and she finds delicious. Deeper in the dungeon, the trap spiders have evolved into trick spiders with deadlier venom and greater strength and speed. The party retreats, but 2 of Crad's friends, Bart and Victor, bump into Fran and they land on a teleport square. They are teleported away without their weapons, including teacher, and land in front of the trick spider's ultimate evolved form, the massive trickster spider. As Amanda picks teacher up and they search for them, teacher cannot reach Fran with telepathy, while Fran panics and asks what she can do without teacher. The trickster spider, which has the upper body of a woman, toys with Fran, Bart, and Victor by triggering booby traps on them. The party splits up to look for them while Amanda goes by herself. With little options, teacher reveals he can speak and move to Amanda and summons an onyx wolf as a familiar to try to find Fran. The wolf goes berserk due to excess mana and Amanda says familiars have to be named. Teacher names it Jet and it calms down, evolves into the much larger darkness wolf, and follows Fran's scent. Fran, Bart, and Victor are incapacitated by poison darts and the trickster spider sends her spiderlings to devour them. Fran imagines herself as a helpless slave again, but a vision of teacher inspires her to get up and fight back with her bare hands. Teacher, Yorushi, and Amanda arrive and blast the trickster spider, who retreats, then heal Fran. Fran is happy to meet Jet and they confess teacher's secrets to Amanda, who is amazed. They heal Bart and Victor, who had passed out and don't know about teacher, and go to the rendezvous point, but no one else is there. The trickster spider heals her wounds and screams, which they hear, then they see a large white bird appear in a flash of light. The bird was Tarua, the familiar of a party member who leads the group to the others who are trapped by the trickster spider and her children. As they rescue them, Fran fights the trickster spider. Amanda remembers how she adopted a male and female black cat named Kinnan and Flamia, but refused to teach them how to fight due to not wanting them to get hurt, which backfired when they tried to become adventurers anyway and got killed. Determined not to let Fran die, she annihilates the trickster spider, but angers Fran by destroying its crystal too. After clearing the dungeon, Klimt gives Fran permission to go to Almut and she is promoted. Garrus gives Fran new armor. Teacher is angered that it exposes her belly, but he shows it protects her with a force field. Garrus says he is going to Almut too, by a different route. As the guild bids Fran goodbye, she finally calls Amanda Mama, causing her to realize Fran is Kinnan and Flamia's daughter. Klimt discusses with his nephew, Tarua's owner, how August's father hired someone to give the spiders evolution potions. Tarua judges Fran has good character and is not a spy despite her unusual strength. Fran surfs through the sky on teacher, only for them to get knocked down and confronted by the necromancer Jean Duvix. This is the end of the video, so please watching all of my anime recap series. Thanks for watching.